My name is Jean Payton Walser. I came to the home in 1947 from the Norfolk Council in Norfolk, Virginia, along with 6 other siblings: Raymond, Eddie, Geraldine, Joan, my twin, Melvin, and Lois. Joan and I left in 1960. And the most memorable thing I remember from the home is, of course, Christmas. And responsibilities were number one, and discipline. And I probably wouldn't be the person I am today if I had not been raised at the Junior Order Children's Home in Lexington. And that's all I can say.
My name is Dick Bobbitt, and I came to the home in August 1953, and my home was in Durham, North Carolina. I had 2 brothers that came to the home also at the same time, and my younger brother was Ray. He was 4 years old. My oldest brother was Jimmy. He was a year older than I was, and we all came to the home in August 1953. My job at the home was milking cows. I don't know how in the world I got on the milking crew, but somebody said I had to report to Mr. Hartley at the milking, and that was 5 years I was still milking cows. But that was farming and whatever it had to be done. But I can't tell you one reason why I got on that milk crew, because it was 7 days a week. My favorite memory of the home was the kids I got to know and the other folks that I got to know. But there were some wonderful kids, wonderful relationships, and we all had our own personalities, but it was a lot of nice folks that we all worked together and whatever, but it was a great time. Also, the lesson learned from the home was, without a doubt, it was hard work, but it was good work. And milking was a special place because we had some good guys that was milkers too. But and responsibility and accountability and responsibility. Those were that I hope I still carry today. Those are things that are important to me, and without a doubt I learned them at the home. Thank you.
I came to the junior home in July of '49 and left in about July of '61. I'm from Wilmington, North Carolina. I had a brother named Randy, sister named Tanya. The job I had at junior home was working on the farm, mainly milking cows. Favorite memory of the home is probably having a lot of brothers and sisters to grow up with and play with, and to do various things with, and get in trouble with. The lessons that I learned from the home and took with me was being responsible for myself, and the fact that I could do not only for myself, but anything I wanted to do for myself. And I have pretty much done that.
My name is Larry Edmondson. I come here July 31st, 1949. I come with 2 sisters, Ann and Sue. Sue left when about after half through here, about 4 years. And my main job here was working in the print shop for the last 5 years. I did also fed hogs and chickens for a while. I like that too. I always got up early, and I like my favorite thing, I'll remember going to swimming after working in the print shop at midnight.
Good one.
Good one. Now I did because after we work all day, you have to go swimming. And I learned to take care of yourself, be kind to others, don't treat nobody like you wouldn't want to be treated. And that's about it.
Yeah, I'm Mike Scavo. When I came to the junior home in July of '49, left in about the 1st of July in '61. I'm from Wilmington, North Carolina. I had a brother named Randy and a sister named Tanya. They were younger than I. My job at the home was working on the farm, mainly milking cows. My favorite memory of the home is that I had a lot of brothers and sisters I grew up with, played with, and basically got in some trouble with. Okay. What lesson did I learn when I left, take away from here? I learned to be responsible for myself, to do for myself, and I carried this all this time with me, and I've done well with it.
Well, my name is John Delano Goins, JD they call me. We were born in Whitesburg, Kentucky. My dad was a coal miner. We had 4 siblings beside myself. We had Jack Goins, Jeanette Goins, James Goins, Joyce Goins, and moi, the baby. And we went to Tiffin, Ohio in 1942. And then when the Tiffin, Ohio home closed, that was 1944, we came to Lexington. My mother was a house parent in Tiffin, Ohio, substitute. That was interesting. When we came to Lexington, my job at the home really started on the farm, you know, hoeing corn, tomatoes, things like that, working at the pig pen. And one of the results out of the pig pen is that later on, myself and another guy started a business here selling worms to the fishermen. We got a penny apiece, but we did pretty well. So my job at the home really that helped prepare me for the future was working in the print shop. Hence, when I left the home, I was able to earn a living in the printing, things like that. My favorite memory of the home, I guess, has been elaborated on. It's really inheriting all these different brothers and sisters. Although we were 4 or 5 siblings that came here, 4 siblings and myself, we had 300 brothers and sisters that we cherish those memories today.
Yes.
Just like our brothers and sisters. What a great thing. A lesson learned, I think, at the home was really the discipline and truthfulness, trustworthiness, and what real friendship means. Because we were like a team and worked together and all those other things. Now when I left the home, I was in the printing trade, learned from the home. After that, I owned a little business in the printing trade, and my real vocation was working for the Florida Department of Education in apprenticeship training. Things that I learned here at the home prepared me for that. I was in the Hialeah JCs, president of that, and I want to go back to the place where we went to high school up at Lexington. That was the first year that people from the home, or students from the home, attended Lexington High School. That started in 1952 and ended in 1957. And honestly, when we moved to Lexington High School, most of the officers, believe it or not, of the student council were from the home. I was president one time, vice president, others were presidents and all that, but it just fell into focus or something that all of us became officers in the Lexington High School, became football players and basketball players and things like that. So that was an aside from that. The lesson learned, as I said, was the discipline and worth of what you were and your friendship and things like that. It really provided a foundation to lead us in life. And most of us were quite successful in life because of our attendance in the children's home. We love you.
Hi, my name is Reggie York. I'm from Mount Airy, North Carolina. I was in the home from 46 to 55. Left here and went to Chicago, Illinois, and finished my high school. I had 3 siblings, Nancy York, Bonnie York, and Jerry York. They're all gone now. Job at the home was working on the farm. We all worked pretty much from sun up to sundown, either raking the yard and whatever, chores. And my memories at the home, they were all great. And lessons learned. Like JD before me, he said everything we did here helped us in our life ahead. And that's about it.
My name is Nancy Broom. I'm Nancy Young now. I came to the home in 1950 and I left in 1960. I came from Charlotte, North Carolina. I had a brother out at the home, Carl Broom, and also my mother worked at the home, Mrs. Broom. She was a dietitian in the boys' building. I've done many jobs at the home. I can't remember a favorite one. I was a jack of all trades. My favorite memory of the home, got to be an entertainer. We got to travel, sing and dance. The lesson that I learned really from the home was always be on time and be respectful of others. Thank you.
I'm from Albemarle, North Carolina, and I came to the home. Yeah, I'm not doing it wrong.
No, you're doing fine.
I came to the home in 1954, and I stayed till 1959. I had the 2 sisters and 1 brother, Martha, Jimmy, and Janice, that was out here. My jobs, I was out here, I was a cook. I worked at the laundry, and I took care of Miss Pascal's children. And what I've learned from the home was, when I got out, that I loved it out here. I learned to have respect for people, and I had manners, and I had an education. And the favorite memories, I just love this place. I cried when I graduated because I didn't have nowhere to go, no family. And so I have been happy ever since.
My name's Richard Andrews. I was known here as Dickie, and I come here in 1943, and I left in 1952. In 1953, I went in the Marine Corps, and I stayed in there 3 years. I was living in doing Korea, and I was in Japan, Korea. What I learned most of being in the junior home was that I learned how to obey and do what I was told to do, and it helped me in my years in the Marine Corps, especially at Pearsall in South Carolina. And I learned that when they told me to do something, I done it. And I had some good memories here. I had some little rough times too, and it was rough back then, you know. We had to work, and all of us had a job to do. I drove the tractors and trucks and on the farm, and after I got up, you know, older, I started off in the nursery, and I was in the East Building when I left. My brother Hal, he was here, and I had 2 sisters, Betty Lou and Bessie Mae, and all of them's dead now. And it was 10 in our family, and it's 2 of us living now. And my brother got burned up last January, my youngest brother. And I've done several jobs. I milked cows, fed hogs, chickens, you know, when I was here, I thought, man, if I ever get out of this place, you know, back then, a postcard cost a penny. And I said, I'm gonna get so far away from here that it's gonna take $1 to send me a penny postcard. And my land joins the junior homes now, so I didn't get too far away. And, but I did. I learned a lot here. I learned to stand on my own. You know, and, I know when I was at the Marine Corps at Paris Island, them guys asked me, said, Andrews, how can you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning? I said, man, I've done it all my life. I used to it, you know. And when that matron come around and says, all right, get up. We hit the floor, and that's the same way in the Marine Corps, you know. But I did, and I, you know, I got a lot of love in my heart for this place. I've tried to help them over the years. I come down sometime and do a bush hog until I had a bad heart attack. I used to come down here and do all the bush hogging, you know, for them. You know, try to, they helped me when I couldn't help myself. And I won't never forget it. And I just thank the Lord for, you know, it seemed hard then, but it made me stand on my own 2 feet.
I was Ann Edmondson. I'm now Ann Edmondson Parisher. I've been married like 47 years to the same man. And when I was at the junior home, I had a brother and a sister out here with me. One was Larry Edmondson and the other one was Sue Edmondson. And we came here because of my mother had TB and she was in a sanatorium. So we did have a mother and a daddy, but they couldn't take care of us. And I come out here in 1949, and I left in 1957, I believe, something like that anyway. But anyway, I had a nice time while I was at the junior home. One of the jobs I had to cook meals at the boys' home, the boys' building. I would have to go over there and cook in the morning and then maybe go back later in the afternoon and cook supper, which was all right, but you know, I never did learn how to cook from it. But anyway, the lesson I learned out here was you had to learn how to take care of yourself, and one of the important things is family. You've got a family to take care of.
I'm Nancy Sherrill Edmondson, and I came to the home in 1950, and I was from Statesville, North Carolina, and I had an older sister, Frankie, younger sister, Patty, and a brother, Tommy, and I used to work in the little boys' building as a cook. And what was my favorite memory of the home? I think going swimming on hot summer days, yeah. And what was the lesson I learned? I think to always look after the children. Don't blame the children for the things that go wrong in the world and in families and all that kind, you know. That's it. Home. That was short.
My name is James Boozermore. I came to the home in 1943, and I was from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And my brothers and sisters were Marion, Shirley, and Kenneth. And I was from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Some of my favorite memories is athletics at Lexington, North Carolina, and everything in the home. Nothing was bad about the home, and I loved it. And lessons learned was being prompt. And I was not late for work at R.J. Reynolds, but maybe 2 or 3 times in my life. And in my 31 years at R.J. Reynolds. And that's where I retired from. And I love the home still. Nothing wrong. And that's good.
We're recording.
I should go ahead and tell you. Okay, I came to the home in 1942, and I came from Kentucky, Carbondale, Kentucky, Whitesburg, Kentucky. And my siblings were, there was 5 of us all together. I had an older brother, Jack, and my oldest sister Jeanette, and myself. And I had a sister younger than me, Joyce, and then my brother JD. You've already interviewed him. He was a baby. He was actually, JD was in a nursery when he came to the home in Tiffin, Ohio. And then it closed down after 2 years, 1944, and we were the last group that came down from Tiffin to Lexington. And then I graduated in 1952. As a matter of fact, I was the last, when I was a rising senior, they discontinued high school here at the home. So my class was the first group that had to leave here and go up to Lexington High School to graduate from high school, which I did in 1952. And as far as what was my job at home, I worked in the print shop. But before that, I worked in the chicken pen, in the hog barn, and I begged Mr. Bruton to get me out of that hog from working in the hog pen, so I could start working in the print shop, which I really enjoyed. I was fortunate enough to be able to work in the print shop and learn a trade, which I was very fortunate. I was very thankful for. And the last question, well, not the last one, but what was your favorite memory at the home? I have many, but I have to narrow it down to one. My favorite memory there, and everybody listening, was that we played six-man football. And we went up to Yanceyville, wherever that is. I don't really know where that was. Maybe near Raleigh or I'm not sure. Yanceyville. And we played a team that was probably outweighed us 50 pounds per man. Really. And there was no way that anybody thought we'd win that ball game. And it rained the whole game. And in spite of the fact that they outweighed us so much, it's much a bigger team than we were, we actually won that game. And the score was about 31-27, something like that. And that's got to be one of my most favorite memories of winning that ball game for the good old junior order. So now, what was the lesson learned at the home? I would say this, dear, that everyone was given a job to do here at the home. And we learned responsibility by doing that job and learning how to do it to the best of our abilities and seeing it through to the conclusion. And I think that taught us responsibility to a great extent. So that's what I have to say.
My name is Becky Smith Merle now, and Jean and Joan were looking through the records and couldn't find where I was ever at the orphanage home, but it was because they had me listed as Charlotte Merle, which is my real name. But I was known at the orphanage home as Becky Merle. I was from Leakesville, North Carolina, and it is now known as Eden, North Carolina. Philip Smith, better known as Smitty, was my brother, and he was here with me at the orphanage home. My job at the orphanage home was the laundry, and I really did like ironing. Didn't like to do the sheets very much because they burned your fingers all the time. My favorite memories at the home was Christmas. All of the kids sitting around the Christmas tree and opening, maybe you'd get a package or so, and I would always look forward to having brand new skates. That was one of the big things at the orphanage home at that time. We had a bicycle that would roll around a big Carter wrangle, what we called it, and kids hooked onto kids, and they would go down a hill and down towards the nursery, and the bicycle would turn off on the road, but the kids kept going straight out into the field of trees and all, but it was a lot of fun. That was something I just remembered very well. What lessons I learned at the orphanage home was responsibility, It has taught me to get in there and fight for it. I was also taught to go out and do what you could and keep your mouth shut and not argue about it. And that was such a wonderful place to live that when Mother came and got me in 1954, I thought it was a big thrill that she had came and got me, but when I got home and I found out that there were sisters and brothers there, and it was just so different from what I was used to that I wanted to come back. And I spent many a night crying because I couldn't come back. But anyway, it was a wonderful time and a wonderful experience.
My name is George Zellman. I was here in 1946. I left in 1953. I have a brother named Charles. Charles was here from 46. He left in 52, a year before I did. We were both from Cincinnati. My father died, and so my mother brought us here because he was a member of the Junior Order, and so that's how we got here. My job and my brother's job while we were here at home were both on the milk crew, unfortunately, and that became a very difficult situation at that time because it was 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and it later on became one of the lessons that I learned because it comes under the category of responsibility. You learn to do these things and they're not always fun. I can see a picture on the wall of ducks flying over the milk barn. I don't remember the ducks flying over the barn, but I spent a lot of years early in the morning in snow and all that taking care of it. And I was thinking about the favorite time or the favorite memory. There are a lot of good things I think that you remember, but I guess the one that is the most outstanding was that every Christmas when the Kiwanis Club used to come up to the home and they gave every child a present. And it nothing unique. It might have been a shirt, it could have been a pair of pants or almost anything. But what made it unique was that everybody there was going to get something. And it got to be a place, I was sharing with one of the ladies in the line a few minutes ago. As I grew up in life, I had reached a place where I never really expected anybody to give me anything. And I still remember that when they start talking about stuff like that, and I remember that at that one particular time, you sit there and you think they're going to call my name. And you know what they're going to give you, but the idea of whatever it was something that made you feel like somebody cared. And that carried over with me, and I still like to do that. I later became a minister in life, and one of the biggest joys I get is giving to other people, and especially when you see some other kids that look like they don't care, is to let them know that don't ever get out there and feel like you're alone because somebody out there cares about you. So basically that's how I feel about your question you gave me, and hope that gives you a good answer. Okay, thank you.
Record.
Hi, I'm Marie Earnhardt Powers. I was at Earnhardt when I was out here at the home. I come out here in 47 and I'm from High Point, North Carolina. My siblings was Barbara and Everett, and I cooked for Miss Owens and Miss Broom. And my favorite memory is skating. We skated all the time. And Thanksgiving, I remember going to the fountain and we would sing and then we'd go have our turkey dinner. And I guess what I have learned is to discipline myself, discipline my children, and honest and hard work. We worked hard, but we had fun, you know. It didn't seem like work because we had so much fun.
Okay, I'm Barbara Force. I was Earnhardt when I was at the home. I came in 49 from High Point. And my siblings were Marie and Everett. My job was cooking for Miss Owens. My favorite memories are skating, swimming, and playing outside with everybody. And I learned that you have to, when you live with so many people, you have to be considerate of everybody. Go.
My name is Bobby Baker. I came to the home in 1944. I was 3 years old, and I stayed until 1955 when I was turning after the 9th grade at Lexington High School. My many memories has to be the friends I made, and still have to this day. And what I've taken and learned is hard work, working hard. And so when I went to work after the military career, then I worked for the same company for 42 years, the Associated Press. And I try to come back every year if I can't make it every other year.
I am Betty Ann Thomas. I came to the home in 1948 and left in 1955. I had 2 siblings, which was my brother Cleve and my brother John, which is better known as Thomas. Little brother died almost 3 years ago. John, he'd be here tonight, but we had him at Baptist Hospital last night. He would love to be here, but he was sort of warned to stay home and take it easy. So we're thinking about him. I have to represent us all 3. When we came to the home, we came from Hidnight, North Carolina, the jewel country. So I am thankful I am a jewel. My job was working in the kitchen for Miss McKinney. I worked for her for many years, about the whole time I was able to stand on a stool and stir a pot. And then, my favorite memory, I cannot put one down by itself, but we had humongous activities, like, right now I remember one specifically, Halloween parade or party we had, and Nancy York made a Halloween costume of Martha and George Washington. And I can't remember the girl that was with her, but they represented those costumes, and they won the best costumes made, and they were outstanding, looked just like them. So I can remember that. And I also, we had many watermelon feasts out in the middle of the quadrangle, and we as kids, we'd eat watermelon and we'd wash more faces than we'd eat. So skating was another activity we had. We played games out in the middle of the quadrangle. There's just so many that I can't just point to one or two. Christmas. I remember I never did have a Christmas. I never had any toys or anything like that till I came to the home. And when I came to the home, I thought I was really something because I could write Santa Claus a letter and ask for 5 items. May not be the exact items that I asked for, but I would get something similar to those items. And I was thrilled to death because I got Christmas gifts. And that was my Christmas at the home. And I can remember on Christmas morning we would go around to the Christmas tree, and all of us was so excited because Santa Claus came. So it's a lot of memories, And I think as I grew, the most rewarding thing I've took with me is respect for others. And to be thankful for what you do have, not what you want, and what God gives fulfills your needs. And I think that is what's really benefited me through the years.
Laura and I want to remember the time we stole the watermelon and broke it in the creek and sat and ate it. But we got our butts tore up by Miss Tyler.
Boy, did it hurt. She would have a little paddle with holes in it, and I was afraid of the dog rain food more than I was the whipping.
My name is Pat Lunsford Thomas. I was in the home from 1950 to 1957, when I thought running away and getting married was the thing to do. I found out the hard way it wasn't. We was raised in Midway, North Carolina. My sisters, Baby Ruth, Janice, and I came to the home in 1950. But I have some fond memories. I was a cook, and I worked in that John Brown laundry. That's a good word for it. But I had a good time, and I have some good memories. In fact, I married one of my memories. Thank you.
There we go.
I'm Laura Bell Humphreys, Macaulay. I came to the home in 1948 and was there until 1961 at graduation. Our home was in Oxford, North Carolina prior to coming to the home. I have a sister, Mary Ann Humphreys, and one, Judy Humphreys. One of my duties at the home was cooking, which was a good thing because that's something that all women need to know. One of my favorite memories of the home is all my friends, my sisters and brothers, and all the good times that we had on the campus playing with each other. And one of my main lessons I learned was to always be honest, be polite, and always do unto others as you want them to do unto you. Thank you.
I'm Janice Lunsford Blanton. I entered the home in March 1950 with my younger sisters Ruth and Pat. And down here I think I worked in every job. I worked in the sewing room, the print shop, the hospital, the laundry. But I think most people remember me by my cooking because I cooked so long ago for Miss McKinney. And favorite memory, gosh, there's a lot. But I remember sitting on the steps behind the main building, which was the main part. I mean, it faces the, everybody knows what it was. But sometimes I missed the bell because I wasn't paying attention. I mean, but also I took that on with me through my life because I married my high school sweetheart, Alton Blanton. And we were married for 36 years before he died of a heart attack. And lessons I learned was always try to do your best. It may not be perfect, but you do the best that you can.
My name is Mary Humphreys, and I came to the home in 1948. And my sisters were Julia Mae Humphreys and Laura Bell Humphreys. And I had the job at the laundry and with Ms. Owens cooking, her stepping on our toes. And I loved, anyway, skating and mingling with other kids. And then my memories, anyway, teaching us how to be clean and honest and having a lot of friends to remember and cherish. And I enjoyed being there. I didn't at first, but later on as the years passed, I loved it. And that's about it.
My name is Raymond Payton. Came to the home in 1947. And I came from Council 21 in Norfolk, Virginia. And when I was born in New York City. Were you? Oh, that's New York City, okay. Who was my siblings? We were seven of us coming in from Norfolk, Virginia. And there was three boys and 4 girls. And they'll be on this tape too somewhere down the line, I hope. My job at the home when I started at the farm. Didn't like the farm. Mr. Bruton asked me if I wanted to be in the print shop. Didn't like the print shop. So Mr. Bruton asked me if I wanted to be his working hand over at the house, help Mr. Bruton with whatever. Okay, I said, yes, sir, I think I'd like that. And then, I had to do just whatever was told, and I enjoyed doing it. Because, hey, you had 5 girls. I mean, that was a number +1. And now, they're more or less my sisters. So that's another +2. favorite memory. My favorite memory, whatever is natural, was working over for Mr. Bruton. I mean, just like a mother and daddy to you, even though in the building I had another mother and daddy, A.L. Hartley and Mr. Hartley. Four of the best people that's ever been in my life, other than my birth mother, naturally. But it was a plus. Everything you do out here was a plus. And if you didn't, well, you didn't know how to appreciate something if you didn't. And this is home. And I guess one of my favorite things, or one of the best things that I thought I was doing is I was waiting for Mac Graham, which drove the station wagon, to leave. I said, Mac, you need to leave. You need to get out of here. Because I was the next in line to drive. And I said, all right. Boy, was that a mistake. Once you got the job, you just stayed busy. But one main thing, I know where I come from, and now in life I know where I've been. And if I hadn't have came where I was when I was young, I wouldn't be where I am today. And that's all I know about it. How about that?
I'm Betty Pittman. I came here from Raleigh. I came in 1948 or 49, I can't really remember, and I left in 1957. My sisters are Irene, Becky, and Judy, and my brother John Pittman. My job at the home was working in the laundry and working in the print shop, which I enjoyed both of those. My favorite memory of the home is getting to travel with Mr. and Ms. Bruton and the entertainers. That was really a lot of fun. And lessons learned at the home were really many, but I think patience was one of them. And, living with so many people and just learning how to take care of myself on my own.
Okay.
Okay, do you need my name? Okay, my name is Willie Graham. When I was in the home, I was also called Mac primarily, and also called Hinkle. My namesake was Hinkle Lumsden, who used to be one of the star athletes here, who went on from here to play for Michigan State on their football team. I came to the home in January 1943. I came from a little place called Bonnie Doon. It's a little community, or was then a community between Fayetteville and Fort Bragg, North Carolina. I had no siblings. I've never known parents. I've never known any siblings. Never known any blood kin, period. When I first came to the home, I was assigned housekeeping. And the little lady, Mrs. Hartley, evidently loved me as a housekeeper because she didn't want to let me do anything else. So I cleaned house for a number of years, and I became disgruntled, and I wanted to change jobs, and she didn't want me to change, so consequently, I received punishment. And the punishment was I was assigned to the milking crew, where we started getting up at 4:30 in the morning and going to milk the cows twice a day. But anyway, that was as I see it, and as I saw it, and as I still believe it, it was a punishment because I did not want to continue to clean house. Another job I had, of course, I worked on the farm. Worked the milking crew for a number of years. I don't remember exactly how long. And then Mr. Bruton asked me if I would be interested in helping him, and what I did was drive the second vehicle that we had back then. I drove the station wagon, and I would transport kids and matrons and staff to doctor's appointments, shopping, etc. But I really enjoyed it. Got to learn a lot more about the matrons, which I was not familiar with. And that's what I was doing when I left here. Other than my last year here, I drove the school bus. because my class, the 1951-52 graduating class, went to Lexington. It was the first class from here that was assigned to go to high school in Lexington, because the state would no longer pay for the teachers because we had so few kids. Back then we had 14 kids, 14 boys, no, 13 boys, 12 or 13 boys in high school. And we had 2 6-man teams of football players. From those numbers, we came up with 2 teams of football players. And one of these guys, I guess it was the 13th, had heart trouble, so of course he couldn't play football. My favorite memory, I have a lot of memories, but my favorite, I guess, would be, I was a rather large guy when I was here, rather large boy. And I was always told that I was rather large for my age. But what I enjoyed most was taking these young kids who were picked upon by others, and I protected them. And so I kind of took some of the younger kids beneath my wing and tried to keep them from harm. Back then we had about 250 kids here at that time. So needless to say, when you have 250 children, you're going to have a few bullies. So I tried to take care of the bullies. The lessons learned, I learned a lot of lessons here. I was running the street before I came here. And I learned the importance of discipline. I learned the importance of being self-sufficient. I learned the importance of being accountable and responsible for my own actions. I learned a very definite work ethic. A lot of kids that I've talked with or conversed with that were here were bitter and so forth, but I give credit to the people who were here working. These people cared about us. And that's what the world needs today. Some people who care about the kids. So even though these matrons and these staff members that were here when I was here, they didn't do everything correctly, but they did the best they knew how. Some of these people didn't even have a high school education, but they did the best they knew how. And I never, ever have ridiculed or said anything ugly about any of them, because I realized early in my young life, early as a young adult, the importance of the upbringing that I received here.
I'm Wade Varner. I came down here in 1952 and left in 56. And I had one brother, Bobby, and Mary was a sister, and Annie Mae was a sister. And what was next? Oh, my job was on the farm, worked on the farm. And it didn't matter if it's cold or hot, we worked on the farm. And my favorite memory was more or less the Saturdays that we spent in the pool. And that was probably one of the most enjoyables. And what was last? Oh, probably, I would say I probably learned more about work than anything else while I was here. They sure taught you how to work. And it meant a lot, it really did. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Earl Blanton, and I came to the home in 1955 and stayed till 1964. and we were from Pender County in eastern part of North Carolina, a little town called Burgaw. And I had, well, there was 5 of us came to the home. My brother Alton and Virginia and Judy came in 1950, and then my brother Larry and I came in 1955. Well, my job at the home, I started out in the shoe shop working with Mr. Abernathy, and then I left from there and went worked on the farm, and then for about 3 years I fed the hogs and the chickens. And then later, Mr. Bruton let me get a job over across the street at the grocery store to earn my money to go to barber school. And so I've been a barber now for 44 years. So my favorite memory, I think it was Thanksgiving, because we had such a good time. They make the big feast and everything, and Coble Dairy would come out and bring everybody a pint of ice cream, which we didn't get much ice cream, so that was quite enjoyable. So that was probably one of my better memories. To work hard. What it says here, what was the lesson learned at the home that took you through your life? They taught you how to fend for yourself and to take care of yourself and to be able to go at what you wanted and don't, poor mouth yourself. Get out there and earn what you need to earn. And that's what I've done in my life. Is I found out that I didn't like being poor. So I got out and I worked hard and I made my way in this world, and I've been reasonably successful. I've fed 4 kids and sent my wife to college, and we have a nice home, and we're doing pretty well. So.
My name is Larry Blanton, Earl's brother. I came from Burgaw, just about 24 miles from Wilmington, and we came out here in 1955, and I stayed until 1964, which I had 1 more year to go to school. But I went to live with my other brother, Alton, called FM. I stayed with him my last year. Worked a full night shift and went to school in the daytime and graduated. And as far as my brothers, let's see, I had Alton was out here, Judy and Virginia, and of course my brother Earl and myself. And I stayed out here to 1964. And when I was out here, I guess my main job was operating the tractors, baling hay, combining, plowing the fields. Many nights I stayed out all night long plowing the fields, getting them ready. Then I ended up taking care of the hogs and chickens, and I spent about 6 years on that. Plus, when I wasn't doing that, I was on the tractors. So the home's been good to me. I look back and I see what it's brought in my life. It taught me how to work, how to have respect, self-worth, just having pride in my own self and what I do. And when I do something, I want to do it right. I enjoy working. And as of now, I live in Ashburn, and I've got a little mini farm. I got 5 horses, and I got a Harley Davidson, and I'm retired now. I retired in 2005. I've been retired about 3 years, and I'm enjoying life, having a great time.
And
Okay, my name is John Pittman, better known as Shorty, and I came to the home in '49 and came from Wilson, North Carolina. I had 4 sisters here, Betty, Irene, Becky, and Judy, and went to Central in high school, and that's where we graduated from. And my job out at the home was working on the farm, and I milked a cow or 2, drove the tractor, loved every minute of it. My favorite memory of the home, I guess, was probably playing ball with all the kids and chasing the girls, of course. Loved to chase the girls. And the most important thing I think I learned from the home was being responsible and being a humble person in life. And I got a real education from the home and enjoyed every minute of it. Thank you very much.
My name's Irene Catlett. I came to the home in 1949. There were 5 of us, Betty, Irene, Shorty, Becky, and Judy Pittman. Out at the home, I worked in the laundry. I did cooking in the big boys building. Of course, you did a lot of different things. And my favorite memory of the home, I think, was when we started Central Davidson in 1957. We had a real big family out here, but up there we got to meet a lot of new friends and people. It was wonderful. And another memory. Christmas, skating, swimming, we just had such a good time. And the lesson I learned at the home, I think, being with so many people and learning that if you treat people well, they'll treat you well back, and that gives you a pretty good start.
Okay, I'm Becky Pittman Walker. I came to the home in 1950 from Wilson, North Carolina. And my siblings were Betty Lou, Irene, John, and Judy Pittman. And my job at the home was lots of things: cleaning, washing dishes, cooking. My favorite memory was, because I love fashion, I loved it when the girls got ready for the junior and senior prom and dressed up in their gowns. We would all go over there and just ood and ahd over them. And one of my lessons that I've taken with me is knowing how to look after myself and survive, and just responsibility, and being able to get along with lots and lots of people.
My name is Kenneth Gregory. I never really had a nickname at the home. It was either Kenneth or Gregory or something like that. And I came here with my brother from Lexington. We were living in Lexington, and as a matter of fact, Mr. Waters was a friend of mine who had a photography studio, of course, in Lexington, and he came out and showed movie pictures and things. Well, he knew about the place, and my mother was having a rough time, so he suggested to her that we come out here, and he talked to Mr. Bruton. He got it okay. So in 1955, my brother and I came out here, and a couple years later, my sister came. So there were 3 of us, and for some reason, I was 11 years old, and Cliff Bowers, who ran the farm, along with Pop Leonard, felt like I had the ability to drive tractors. So Cliff and Pop Leonard had me driving tractors, learning how to operate the equipment and things. Of course, Shorty and Skip preceded me, and I learned some things from them, and that was pretty much my detail here at home. Of course, I had other jobs that fell into that realm. I know one time I also cut meat, and down at the cold storage, I cut bacon and cut up and prepared some of the food that got distributed to the house and to the buildings. But I was there by myself, and a couple of the guys came in and got some things that they felt they needed but weren't supposed to have, and discussed with me the fact that it would probably be in my best interest if I didn't divulge where this stuff went. So being a good brother to my brothers, I decided not to tell where this stuff went. Pop Leonard wanted to know. I wouldn't tell him. So we had a cow barn over at the farm, and we had to clean the barn out with the front end loader and pile the manure outside. So one of the favorite punishments was, if you got in trouble, you had to dig a path through the manure pile. Well, that thing was higher than your head, and it took forever. But that was what I got assigned to do because I wouldn't tell on these guys. Well, I got most of the way through it, and there was just too much work to be done that Cliff talked Pop Leonard into letting me go, because he said obviously I wasn't going to tell. Secondly, he didn't see how that was going to help anything if I did, and for some reason Pop Leonard decided, well, the heck with it, I need him, you know, driving a tractor worse than I do, you know, doing this. So he let me off before I ever finished it. But the home in my future endeavors was a huge, basic learning experience. I worked 30 years or more with adults with disabilities as president of a sheltered workshop, it used to be called, community rehab program. And I ran that, I feel, similarly to the way we did here. We had our own cafeteria, we have our own trucks, we delivered our own stuff, we had our own janitorial crew, but all of these folks had disabilities. So working with them, I felt, was very similar to how I learned to deal with things when I was growing up here at the home. But there's a whole lot more, of course.